Hello Anashe, how are you, my good people of Facebook, YouTube, etc.? Today I would like to do a book review of this book. A book of crystal spells, magical uses for stones, crystals, minerals, and even sand by Amber Grant. And I was looking to buy this book for a while and I couldn't find it for cheap. I had to get it to like for $18, like full price. And it's a Llewellyn book, so it waited quite a long time on my reading list. And the people who are like, magical readers like I am will understand why it waited so long. But I have good things to say about it, and I have some bad things to say about that. It's a mixed bag. And I'll start with the good. But first of all, allow me to tell you, why would I read a book such as this? What? I'm a witch in the business of being a witch for many years. I have a giant amount of crystals. If you want to see, you can look at my room. I think I have like one of the biggest collections of crystal books in Israel, and that's a chore because I have. Okay, I'm a friend with the owner of the greatest crystal shop in Israel that is called Stone Age. And the owner is like, every time I go there, like, I teach a workshop or I show, one or two of my pupils in my tradition, like the books that I have, the owner of that shop that writes crystal books in Hebrew, Shanito there, she comes to me and she tells me, oh, I didn't see this book. Oh, I don't know that book. It's like I always have something else in my bag of sweets of books that she doesn't know. But, she has the basics and I have like way more. I have like this giant ass rare books of crystals out there. But the point is this, up until what year this book came out? 2013, we had 10 years in which the only things that really dealt with modern spellcraft and crystals was the Cunningham Encyclopedia of James Metal and Crystal Magic. And also you would have like, here and there you would have like books that are like, would incorporate this crystal or that crystal in a spell or a chapter here and there that would give you an example of crystal spells, but nobody really sat down to make a subject out of this. That's like the problem is the pagan and the magical reality of this. That's one of the problems. The second problems were, on the other side, on the New Age front, you would have a large amount of literature written about crystal healing, crystal vibrations, crystal grids, crystal whatever, and those books will pile up. It's like even Melody that wrote Love is in the Earth, she did like the Final Testament, which is this enormous crystal book, enormous, that has like a combination of all the crystals she's met. And it's like, if you have any friend or colleague that studied medicine, it's like one of those big anatomy books. It's like the gray anatomies of crystals. And at some point, I can see how the neo-pagans and witches and even like, because honestly, I would die to see some African diaspora person sitting down and writing like a full text in English about property of crystals and gems, like in ATR practices. That would make me so happy. I actually made Shaloya write an article about crystals using hexing. Yes, crystals can be used for hexing. Did you know, for instance, that black onyx and carnelian could cause a rat infestation? I bet there are some restaurants that you would like to infest with rats, so go research. And also, like, the general usage of crystal in the diaspora. And, I saw surprises. I didn't know all of those, even though I'm both an avid reader of crystal books that are new agey and crystal books that are, like, witchy. And this is the first witchy book of crystals that I've read. And I can say I recommend it because this book, even though there is no real so much new revelations in it, it really took all the new age subjects and like filtered them and sieved them through and like took whatever that was really magical and witchcrafty in them and actually went and created this catalog of practices that could be used in witchcraft. Now let me read to you the index and you will see how rich this book is. Okay. Introduction about the spells, which is basically telling me learn how to cast spells and then learn how to use crystals in your spells. 1. Preparation for crystal magic. Introduction. Cleansing and charging, defined and demystified cleansing methods. And they are, I shit you not, like 8 cleansing metals systems. Elementals, smudging, water, sunlight and moonlight. Earth cleansing, music and sound. Salt, using quartz crystals and other stones. Like a bit, a lot of options how to cleanse them. And like cleansing is such an important practice in pagans and witchy stuff. You can't really ignore cleansing when you're doing works like that. Okay, charging and dedication, methods of charging and dedicating. Other methods, dedicating crystal clusters. Like, you take like a giant cluster of citrine, you put it in your shop to draw customers, that sort of thing. That's also in the New Age things, but once it's pagan, once it has a spell doing it, of course it's much more powerful. At least an aware spell. Centering and grounding, center ritual, grounding rituals, the mundane stuff, the shopping of the stones, also like a guide, how to shop, where to get, what's best, what's not best, listen to your intuition, that crap. 2. Jewelry, amulets, and talismans. And it has a list of things that, little spells. And one of the things that I didn't like so much about this book is that it wasn't organized. I would like the theory of the spells in one chapter and like all the spell, to have another chapter of spells, but she did it like a mix. Okay, so there's an introduction, a love pendant, ring around your waist, a reminder spell, amber spells for attraction. Those are very powerful, by the way. Using amber for attraction is like one of the secrets of success of love spells. Ring spells, protection amulet, talisman to relieve tension, talisman for success in legal matters, moonstone travel amulet, fluorite spell for focus, which is actually, I think, would be very useful, especially for students. A talisman for acceptance and comfort, citrine spell to clear the way, shield spell, pirate dollar spell, making your own magical jewelry, coven jewelry, cleansing second-hand jewelry, cleansing ritual, parting with a piece of magical jewelry, parting rituals. Okay, and just that's just part 2, okay? And if I would tell you that this is what's all in that book, that would already be attractive, but no. There is part 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and an appendix. It's rich. It's really rich. It's like some sort of book that you read a little bit, you read a spell, you sit, you meditate about this for it, but you say, I can take this and this from that spell and gather inspiration for my own spell. So, it can be very useful. 3, crystal spells for the home and garden. The home, room by room, kitchen and dining room, bathroom, bedroom, office and study, then family room, living room. Sometimes you need to, especially in the living room, if there are quarrels, you need to stick a piece of colosite there to remind everybody that they are a family and just make it like an ornament that it stays there and very fragile, so don't put it next to cats or get one of those glass dome thingies. Balancing your home, the center and the 4 corners, outside of the home, protection in the boundaries, to protect properly lined, to protect entryways, stone spells for the garden, complementary combinations for the garden, garden protection spell, fountain spell. 4, crystal elixirs and essences. Yeah, so, this is another New Age thing. You make some crystal water, use them as a base to make an actual magical potion, and yes, witches out there, I want to see more spoken spells and I want to see more potions in your cauldrons. Yes, actual cauldron. Yes, from actual iron. Yes, that requires scraping and oiling and baking in the oven so they won't rust. Back to the cauldrons, witches. Or, if you can't steer with the big girls, step away from the cauldrons. Elixirs and essences, the difference. Basic elixir, basic essence. Indirect dry elixir. Elixir and essence suggestion. Sun elixir, moon elixir. cleansing and protection elixir, elixir to dispel negative energy, home blessing elixir, calming elixir, elixir for passion, full moon bath tonic, elixir for beauty, drinkable clear quartz elixir, and salt water elixir. And I did make a video about that magic water that is using quartz crystals. So, again, the old and the new meet again after through the sieve of the new age you took away all the bullshit out. Sand and glass spells. And yes, sand and glass don't receive enough love. Which is very sad because glass was a symbol of property and richness. It's such a fine material, and like the ancient Romans really kept quite a lot of it. Sand magic, other magical usage, other tips for using sand in magic. Cleansing and charging sand, sand and stone offering balls. And this is a chapter that I knew very little about, and it gave me some new perspective over, not glass so much, but more like sand. This is like one of the first things that I learned from this book. Sand for banishing or binding, spell to forget. Forgetting spells are very rare, but they are very important, especially when you're, trying to get over a trauma or like a lover that broke your heart. So forgetting spells should be studied. Sand protection bottle, sacred sand spell, glass magic, sea glass spell for love, Austrian crystal sun catcher, which is again, it's like leaded crystal. And I love leaded crystal, and I love to use them in spells because, it's not only like allow you to break beautifully the rays of the sun, but it also allows you to capture something within it, and it will stay because the lead is subterranean. So if you charge it properly, and it does take a while, you can make like a sun catcher crystal that would make your house always happy because happiness is captured it. Until it breaks, of course, and it always breaks because, it can't really stand all that energy. Elegant earth magic, the unexpected power of rocks, stone healing circles, 4 quarters, spells for unity and wholeness, stone throw spell, anchor spell, wishing spell, stone spell for healing, stone for self-trouble, geodes spell for secrets, like you tell secret to your geode, 7 special quartz points, and this is where we are getting into like what New Age gave spellcraft in a more amazing way, like different ways that a crystal is crystallized has a different meaning, like an Isis crystal that has more feminine goddess energy, unlike a bridge crystal that allows you to like channel energy to other worlds and stuff like that. So here you have window crystal, generator crystal, channeling crystal, double terminated crystal, Isis crystal, self-heal crystal, rainbow crystals, record keeper crystals. And record keeper crystals is like one of the things, like, Scott Cunningham doesn't talk about that, but this is something that I grabbed from New Age literature and I use a little bit like for student success spells, or like for studying, or to read a room for protection, because it has like a lot of ways to capture energy and like absorb it until it's cleansed. It's very interesting. Ritual meditations and affirmations. And affirmation hasn't been so popular since the 90s, but I guess they are back. I'm happy that they are back. Ritual to dedicate your personal power stone, ritual to opening your third eye, smoky quartz crystals for temperance, dream spell, prayer beads, crossroads spells, onyx meditation for balance, totem stone dedication rituals, scrying spells, pendulums. 9. Numerology, stones by number. Introduction, finding your numbers, how to begin, numerological association, natal stones, traditional birthstones, using your numbers in spells and rituals, simple spells, job-seeking spell, spell for a favorable outcome, aka luck. I know those Wiccans, they have this thing to use flowery language, but it's luck. 10. Crystal greed spells, advanced crystal magic. Now, crystal greeds, it's not advanced. It's more like, let me tell you like why I have a problem with a crystal greed. A crystal greed is making this a geometrical form or making like a garden from crystals, and it's very nice, but the problem is this: those are untransportable and they are expensive, meaning to make a proper crystal grid you have to work at it, you have to work hard to have like crystals in the same shape, or else it looks shitty. And people would judge your crystal grades. Like, if your rose quartz for universal love and that you put on like this hexagram shape are not precisely the same size or completely crystal clear, sorry, people would judge you for it. So like, this is more like rich people spells. But you know, if you want to make a spell and it requires a grid, pay the money, get the stones, do it. But it's like, it's not something that I want to see common. I want to see it like something that, you know, if you can afford it, you do it. If you, like Chanel number 5. If you can afford Chanel number 5, wear it. It's great. It's a great fragrance. I love it. But if you can't, wear Odyssey by some, you know, wear by Avon. It's fine. You don't have to go crazy. Greed for debt relief, greed for peace and quiet, prosperity grid, greed for fertility, the flower of life grid, which is of course expensive because it has like 80 places to place crystals in them. The flower of life spell, pentacle grid, spell to stimulate the mind. I know some people who need that. Maybe somebody should grid Trump's pictures with that. Sixth sense grid, alchemical grid, squaring the circle, becoming gold, like, you know, an alchemy crystal grid, and I know some hermetic mages that might be into that. Grid for universal love, yeah, that's the one with the hexagram. Spells for change. Change is painful. You do it with crystals, it's gonna hurt. And conclusion, consider this. Now, you think that's the end? No, there is an appendix. Stones and metals, metaphysical correspondences, crystal systems, plutonic solids, platonic solids, correspondences for days of the week, stones, incense, and oils. This is where it's like counterpart. Planetary association, chakra stones, elemental associations, seasonal associations, stones by use, colors, shapes, glossary, bibliography, which is extremely important, and it's like a 6 pages bibliography. I'm very proud of her. And of course an index. So this book that has a measly 250 pages is rich with information. I learned more than 3 new things in it, and it also solidified like the pagan point of view of some things that I already knew from the New Age, and it's highly recommended for your library, especially if you are a stone worker like I am. Okay, I hope this was an interesting book review for you. Goodbye, Nashe. And if you read this book, please tell me down below what you thought about it. Have a pleasant day. Goodbye.